MBAs actually useful in entrepreneurship? I remember when I was getting my MBA, there were a bunch of engineering undergrads that were pursuing their MBAs. Most of them wanted to go into finance. I never really understood that mentality. Actually, I did understand that mentality, but I just didn't agree with it. The mentality was all about money. The more money you make, the better off you are. Literally nothing else mattered but the money. The engineers turned finance moguls got their undergrad degrees for the wrong reason, and they were getting their MBAs for the same wrong reason too. Then the stock market crashed during our final year, and all the would-be finance moguls' dreams of owning Wall Street went away. Getting your MBA can be helpful to becoming an entrepreneur. It was for me. Here's the thing about getting an MBA. Getting an MBA is not rocket science. An MBA is a generalist degree that is meant to add to the knowledge you've learned in the working world. I started my MBA after I'd been in the working world for around 3 years. I'd seen enough where I was starting to formulate some ideas of how business worked. But I was doing engineering work, so my exposure to the business side of things was minimal. And that's where getting an MBA was big boost for my career. In short, an MBA is a career accelerator if you get an MBA at the right time in your career. Getting an MBA gives you a framework for your business ideas. As I said, I already had ideas about how business worked. But the material I learned about marketing and finance gave me a framework for my business ideas. Now I could see how to develop a coherent marketing program, position my business versus the competition, and develop a strategies that would actually work. Yes, I would have learned all these things in the real world. That's why an MBA isn't rocket science and the counter-argument to why you don't an MBA, but I learned how to do these things quicker and better. That's the true value of getting an MBA. You can apply what you learned getting an MBA when you start your company. Actually, I started applying what I learned from my MBA long before I started my company. I used that basic framework to manage and grow the various businesses I ran. The businesses I ran were successful. I don't attribute it to the MBA. Having a great team to work with allowed us to have tremendous success, but the MBA sure didn't hurt. Then, when I was ready to start my company, I applied these practices again. And you know what? These same ideas again helped build the company. So absolutely get an MBA if you're getting an MBA for the right reasons. You will learn and grow faster if you do. Just don't expect the MBA to do the work for you. You'll have to supply the grit and determination needed to build a great company. They are orientated more for large organizations, but still the curriculum is very useful. As a business becomes larger, the MBA will become more useful. An MBA will teach you the fundamentals of accounting, strategy, leadership, marketing, business process management, etc., etc. All of these will be useful in your pursuit. Have you heard of firms such as McKinsey, Bain, etc.? They specifically send in teams of consultants to address problems in established companies and make recommendations to improve performance. Most of those consultants have MBAs. Coincidence? They are expensive and time-consuming, so you may not want to actually pay to complete one. In this case, I would recommend purchasing books such as the 10-Day MBA or similar and go from there. Once you understand the curriculum, you perhaps could see why some of the answers below that are anti-MBA appear comical and almost malicious to someone who has a real business education. The degree itself is focused solely on how to manage a business and generally contains classes on entrepreneurship. It would be the closest degree to helping you in your pursuit, apart from external classes in lean product development, etc. Don't be fooled by people who have succeeded without an MBA, or other decent levels of education, as this is not true causation. I am not saying that doing an MBA will lead to success, but do develop your education in the business and entrepreneurial space. The MBA will not be the defining factor though, it will just improve your chances. Ultimately, it will come down to your product service, how you implement it, and the amount of work you put in.